Duke Williams had himself a great game on Sunday, but is that enough to get him on this Buffalo Bills playoff roster? Welcome to Billievers Talk. My name is Joe, and welcome to a special playoff edition of Billievers Talk, where we're going to talk about Duke Williams and whether or not he deserves a roster spot when it comes to the Buffalo Bills in the wild card playoff game this Saturday between the Buffalo Bills and the Houston Texans. Guys, make sure that you're watching either right here on Billievers Talk or hashtag sports, as we'll be sure to give you live play-by-play reaction to that game this Saturday. Again, hashtag sports and Billievers Talk teaming up to give you the best play-by-play reaction video for every single Buffalo Bills game. So make sure you tune in here on YouTube. Make sure you're checking it out on Sportscaster, link in the description below, and we will have you covered. Billievers Talk also teaming up with BewareTheStampede.com. Jeremy from BewareTheStampede.com, gracious enough to invite us into the Beware the Stampede family, and we've had a great, successful season this year. Again, go to BewareTheStampede.com for all your Buffalo Bills news. Jeremy recently started a podcast. Make sure you're listening to that. And guys, again, with the success, we're always having giveaways, so make sure you guys are staying tuned for those as well. So we want to talk about this video, guys. We want to talk about Duke Williams and if he should be on the Buffalo Bills roster, guys, if he should be on that wild card roster. Again, Duke Williams inactive for 12 games this season. A lot of people wondering why, including myself sometimes wondering if he wouldn't help out this wide receiving corps. Now, if you remember at the beginning of the season, I was one of the few that said I did not see Duke Williams making on the active roster. I was correct there. So now let's talk about if he's going to make it to the active roster come playoff weekend. This Sunday had a huge part in our offense, an offense that only scored 6 points. However, in that game, Duke Williams has 6 catches for 108 yards. He had 6 catches on 12 attempts, so he caught 50% of the balls thrown his way. Not exactly a high mark, but some of those balls were also uncatchable, and that's something you always have to remember as well, is what balls were uncatchable and what balls were just dropped or missed opportunities by either the quarterback or the wide receiver. So we will look at that. We will compare his stats to other wide receivers currently on the Buffalo Bills roster. We'll talk about what those wide receivers bring to the game and talk about what Duke Williams could add and maybe not add that the other wide receivers have, and see if it would be worth it to bring up a Duke Williams. When we talk about the wide receivers for the Buffalo Bills, we're obviously going to look past John Brown and Cole Beasley. We know that they are going to be on the playoff roster, right? We know they're going to be there and they deserve to be there. Everything that we talk about, I'll say, things like Duke Williams would be third in this category. He would be behind both John Brown and Cole Beasley, who have really done great this season. You're talking about 72 receptions for John Brown, 67 for Cole Beasley. Not numbers that you want to replace in the offseason. Definitely Josh Allen's top 2 weapons. So we're going to leave them alone, but we're going to talk about the other wide receivers. I'm talking about Isaiah McKenzie. I'm talking about Robert Foster, and I'm also talking about Andre Roberts. We're going to talk about those 3 guys in particular and talk about what they add that Duke Williams might not be able to add, and vice versa, what Duke Williams could add to this team that they wouldn't. So we know this Sunday we only had 3 active wide receivers. Those were Robert Foster and Isaiah McKenzie and Duke Williams. Those were our 3 active wide receivers. We try to focus on both the offense and defensive line as far as players go, so that way we could keep subbing in and out, so that way we could hopefully avoid injuries. And we did, for the most part, avoid major injuries, so we can be happy about that. But again, we talk about Duke Williams, 6 catches, 108 yards. He has played in 3 other games this season, starting with that Tennessee Titans game, week 5 of the NFL season, where he caught 4 passes on 4 attempts for a touchdown, and I believe it was like 40-some yards, something like that. Not a lot of big gains in that game, but Josh Allen was able to find him 4 times. In fact, when you break down the stats between Josh Allen, when Josh Allen's throwing the ball at Duke Williams, and Barkley, when Matt Barkley's throwing the ball at Duke Williams, it really gives you an outlier to what we want to do. Again, Josh Allen's going to be our quarterback Saturday, guys. So do you want Duke Williams in there with Josh Allen? The 6 for 108 sounds great, but remember, Matt Barkley was his quarterback for all of those catches. Josh Allen threw the ball to him twice on Sunday, neither one of those connecting for a completion. The first one, I think, was uncatchable. The second one landed right in Duke Williams' hands, just unable to hold on to that ball. So we look at the numbers with Josh Allen for the season, including those 2 incompletions on Sunday, 6 for 9, 58 yards, and that 1 touchdown in the Tennessee Titans game. Again, the first 3 games he played were against the Tennessee Titans, week 5, then we had our bye week, then week 7 against the Dolphins, and then week 8 against the Eagles. Those were the games he played in. Only had 1 target in the Dolphins game and had 2 targets, 1 catch in the Eagles game. So that is where these numbers come from. 6 for 9 with Josh Allen as quarterback for 58 yards and a touchdown, compared to 6 for 10 with Matt Barkley as his quarterback for 108 yards. All those targets coming in the game this past Sunday. But if you average that out, all of his yards, the 12 catches this season, if you average that out for 16 games, that means that he would average 41.5 yards per game. In the 4 games he played, 166 yards, averages to 41.5. You multiply that by 16 games. So let's say he's able to average 41.5 yards per game, 16 games. That's 664 yards, which is 3rd among Buffalo Bills wide receivers, only behind Brown and Beasley, as I mentioned earlier. Brown with 1,060 yards, Beasley with 778. The next receiver, the next option for Josh Allen would be Dawson Knox, sitting there at 388 yards in the season. So you're talking about almost double that at 664. That's something that you have to look at and say, hey, he could have been the 3rd best target on this Buffalo Bills team. And when you look at Sunday's game, right? Sunday's game where he had 6 catches for 108 yards, you have to remember he was wide receiver 1 in that game. And we were playing against a number 1 Jets defense, which isn't too bad, right? That Jets defense is pretty good this season. So you're going up against the number 1 Jets corner, you're going up against the number 1 Jets safeties, and you're still able to dash them for 6 catches for 108 yards. That's pretty impressive, and that's something that the Bills staff does have to take a look at, because in the wildcard playoff game, you figure he would not be wide receiver number 1. At best, he would be lined up as wide receiver number 2 with Cole Beasley in the slot. But let's be honest, even if he's lined up as wide receiver number 2, probably still going to get looked at as wide receiver number 3 behind both Brown and Beasley. And then you add someone like McKenzie in there who brings you that speed, because just because we add Duke Williams does not mean we have to lose a guy like Isaiah McKenzie, which we'll talk about in a minute. But you bring in a guy like Isaiah McKenzie at speed, open up some space for a guy like a Duke Williams, for a guy like Cole Beasley. You talk about having all these weapons for a team like the Patriots, who always try to take away your top weapon. You want to have as many weapons as possible. Well, here is a potential weapon that the Buffalo Bills are leaving on the inactive roster, and leaving a lot of fans wondering, well, why? So you look at a guy like Isaiah McKenzie. Isaiah McKenzie this season has 27 receptions for 254 yards. Obviously something that a guy like Duke Williams could be better in. But if you take a look at Isaiah McKenzie's rushing numbers, he adds more value than just a wide receiver. And I remember someone commented on this channel not too long ago, maybe 2 or 3 days ago, saying that they'd rather Duke Williams over Isaiah McKenzie's 2 to 3 rushes on a jet sweep per game. And I do understand that sentiment. However, Isaiah McKenzie, when it comes to those jet sweeps, gives you much more than just those 2 carries a game. You remember Sunday he had 2 carries for 30 yards, and everyone's like, okay, that's great, but that's only 2 carries. But he always gives you that illusion that he can get the ball, right? Whenever he goes into motion, whenever he's threatening to run a jet sweep, the defense has to follow him. The defense has to be accountable for him, which spreads out a defense. So it's not just the 2 times he carries the ball in a game, it's also all the other times, the 6 to 8 to 10 times the Buffalo Bills run that and he doesn't get the ball. That spreads out the defense. That's something that Duke Williams would not be able to provide. Duke Williams is not going to scare you with his speed downfield, and so he would not be someone that you could use when it came to a jet sweep type formation. Again, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section. Do you think would you rather Duke Williams over Isaiah McKenzie, or would you rather him over one of the other receivers that we're about to talk about? Again, if you're not subscribed to Billievers Talk, hit that subscribe button, guys. Not only are we going to keep you covered throughout the playoffs, we're also going to keep you covered in the offseason when you're talking about draft, when you're talking about free agents. You want to talk about the Buffalo Bills' potential free agents, both unrestricted and restricted, and you want to talk about some other fun Buffalo Bills news and other Buffalo sports. You want to hit that subscribe button, like this video, and like I said, leave a comment. What do you think about Duke Williams playing this Saturday against the Houston Texans? So you move on to a guy like a Robert Foster, and you look at Robert Foster, only 3 receptions this season for 18 yards. Most of the season, people have been wondering, where has Robert Foster been at? This is the guy, when you talk about who's on the active roster compared to who is not on the active roster, that I would take a look at and say, hey, this could be a spot for a Duke Williams. We saw Isaiah McKenzie on Sunday as a special teamer. So even if you're looking at Andre Roberts and saying, well, what if he gets hurt? Who's going to be the special teams guy? That's when you can put in an Isaiah McKenzie. So why is Robert Foster still on the active roster instead of a Duke Williams? Again, talking about Robert Foster, only 3 catches this year for 18 targets for 64 yards, just not getting it done. So you look at these two guys, and this is the one where I would say this is the one roster spot for at the wide receiver position where I would say this something doesn't seem right here. Why is Robert Foster in this game compared to a Duke Williams, who under Josh Allen has 6 receptions for 9 attempts for 58 yards and a touchdown? Those numbers are better than Foster in a lot of degrees. Again, you're talking about 3 catches out of 18, 6 out of 9 for Duke Williams is obviously better there. You're talking about 64 yards, 58 yards. Obviously, Robert Foster able to give that breakaway speed, able to open up a defense a little bit more. But that really doesn't matter if he's not catching the ball, right? We've seen some deep misses to Robert Foster this season, not hitting like they were last season. But at what point do you pull the plug? Remember, Robert Foster, an undrafted free agent as well, someone that came on strong towards the second half of last year, hasn't done that this season in 16 games. When are you willing to make that switch? Again, let me know in the comment section, would you switch Duke Williams for Robert Foster? Then you look at Andre Roberts. Most of Andre Roberts' skill sets are in these special teams. Has only been a target 7 times this season. So we're going to keep Andre Roberts on the active roster just for what he provides us on special teams. I know that a lot of you, including myself also, have been frustrated with what Andre Roberts has done recently this year as far as taking balls on the end zone when he doesn't have to. But for the most part, he's been solid back there. Hasn't turned the ball over at all, so that's a big plus compared to last season. I think that we have to keep Andre Roberts. So when you look at Duke Williams, you say, is he worth switching with? Again, the guy I would compare him to would be Robert Foster. Is that roster spot open? But when you look at Duke Williams, there are a couple of things you cannot forget. First of all, Robert Foster does play special teams. In fact, he's one of the catalysts on our special teams unit. He gets down the field pretty fast, has made some pretty nice tackles on punt returns. Again, something Duke Williams would not be able to do. He, again, would not be able to beat you with his speed. And that might be another reason why Robert Foster maintains that roster spot, because of his special teams capabilities. Another thing you have to remember about Duke Williams is he does have a few drops this season with both Josh Allen and Matt Barkley in the game. Again, we talk about that second pass from Josh Allen to Duke Williams on Sunday. Had it right in his hands, unable to hold on to it. I was really hoping to see a connection between Josh Allen and Duke Williams on Sunday. Get that connection going so that way Duke could go and say, hey, I could catch balls from this guy. Me and him are on the same page. Put me in there. And that just didn't happen. Another thing from Sunday's game that we have to remember is that third down play where I believe it was 3rd and 6. He runs a 5-yard out pattern, gets tackled right away, does not pick up first down. When you're a veteran wide receiver, that's something that you know you have to do. Cole Beasley wouldn't have been short there. John Brown wouldn't have been short there. That's something that you always have to know is, where are the sticks? Where do I have to go? Matt Barkley can hit you on that out a yard downfield. You get the first down. Keep the chains moving. Give us a chance to win that game, a game that was only a 7-point differential. So make sure you know where the sticks are. Obviously, that's something that the coaching staff will impress on him this week and probably moving forward. I like Duke Williams. I've liked what I've seen from Duke Williams, but I don't know if he's ready to step up at the biggest time where the Bills would need him the most. Talk about wild card weekend. Obviously, Robert Foster doesn't exactly have playoff experience either. So again, if you're talking about switching guys, I wouldn't mind you switching Robert Foster and Duke Williams. Maybe finding a way to get Dean Marlowe off the inactive roster to maybe help with special teams. Siren Neal as well, always going to do good on special teams. So make sure you have him in there as well. But those are the two guys I think might be able to switch. Let me know in the comment section, what do you believe? Do you believe that the Buffalo Bills should go with Duke Williams in the playoffs? Do you believe that his strength, his ability to go up and get it is worth it? Again, I wish we would have seen this past Sunday a couple red zone targets for Duke Williams. Didn't see too many go up and get it balls for him, but we know he is able to. So do you want to see Duke Williams on a wild card roster this Saturday against the Houston Texans? Again, guys, let me know in the comment section. Be sure to subscribe to Billievers Talk. Again, we have you covered, including this Saturday for the game between the Houston Texans and the Buffalo Bills. Make sure you're checking out Billievers Talk or hashtag sports. Either way, we'll make sure to give you live play-by-play and reaction to the game this Saturday as the Buffalo Bills look to win their first playoff game since 1995. I hope you all have a happy and safe New Year's, guys. New Year's Eve. Make sure you guys are safe this year. Grab a DD if you need to. Be at a friend's place. Whatever you have to do, have fun, be safe, and then I look forward to talking to you all soon. Until I do, go Bills.